You know what sucks? Spending your hard-earned money on something only to find out that you can never use it. That's one problem with Modern these days. It's that there's so many awesome cards in the format, but you can't even use them because they're banned. I mean, good God, look at this list of all these banned cards. It's just ridiculous. Hi, I'm Respector, and today I'm going to be talking about 5 cards on the Modern ban list that do not deserve to be there. Now, before I begin, I want to state that these cards aren't in any particular order. In fact, I think they all deserve a chance to be back in the sunlight in the format known as Modern, and kind of putting ones before the others would just make me look biased against some of these cards. So, without any further ado, let's begin. Starting off the countdown at number 5 is the oh-so-terrifying Stoneforge Mystic. Because there was totally a time in Magic's history when everyone was totally afraid of Squire. I honestly can't remember that time. Now, don't get me wrong, Stoneforge Mystic is a really powerful card. It allows you to tutor for any equipment in your deck, and allows you to cheat that equipment around counterspells by not even allowing you to pay its mana cost, and essentially getting it for only 2 mana by using the creature's activated ability. While this ability is very good, it's not really what I would call degenerate, as probably the most degenerate thing I've ever heard of players actually doing with a Stoneforge Mystic is cheating in a Batterskull turn 3, which is a very strong play, but compared to the other strategies in Modern, it really doesn't stack up. Let's take a look, shall we? We have Scapeshift, kills you turn 4, maybe 5, Ad Nauseam, kills you turn 4, maybe 5, and we got Poison that kills you turn 2. Batterskull, on the other hand, is really powerful as it gives you a really powerful equipment with a creature to go along with it. The thing is, you don't win the game immediately. Your opponent actually has some time to respond, and there are a lot of things that can take care of a Batterskull. Speaking of taking care of things, the Mystic on its own really is not that hard to get rid of. If you're familiar with the saying, "it dies to Doomblade," well, Stoneforge Mystic obviously dies to Doomblade, but it dies to just about everything else. Except maybe Gutshot. Rushing into the 4th spot of our countdown is everyone's favorite Cascade creature, Bloodbraid Elf. Because just like Squire, there was once a time when everyone feared Volshock Berserker. I don't remember that time either. Like Stoneforge Mystic, Bloodbraid Elf also gets you a card from its Cascade ability. However, the thing about that card is you can't choose what card it is. It has to be random, and it may not always be the card that you need. In short, you won't be seeing any Batterskulls because they cost way too much. To be honest, I'm actually kind of surprised that Bloodbraid Elf is actually banned because it's actually quite similar to another card that is actually played in Modern today. And that card is Collected Company. They are both very similar because both spells get you 2 things for the price of 4 mana. It's subject to debate, but some people actually think that Collected Company is actually better than Bloodbraid Elf because it guarantees you 2 creatures. Bloodbraid Elf guarantees the Bloodbraid Elf, but it doesn't always guarantee something that you will need, whereas Collected Company will probably give you better options. From what I have gathered, the reason that Bloodbraid Elf is actually banned is because it was making the format too stagnant by being a 4 of in every Jund deck. Which I don't really understand either, because both Tarmogoyf and Bob are a 4 of in Jund decks, and they're not banned. Truth be told, Bloodbraid Elf is actually a really fair card when compared to a lot of things that could be done in Modern. It is very powerful, but if you are prepared for it, it can be easily stopped. Another thing to keep in mind is that, like Stoneforge Mystic, Bloodbraid Elf will also die to just about everything, except Gutshot. Up next is Birthing Pod, and honestly, this one's kind of a shocker to me. The thing about Birthing Pod decks is they rely on 2 things to work: creatures and activated abilities. If you can stop either of those things, you will more than likely beat the Birthing Pod deck. Another thing about Birthing Pod is everything has to go right. This is mainly because most Birthing Pod decks only run a one of each creature, and therefore, in order to attain the combos that they're so degenerately known for, getting rid of one of those creatures is a big deal because it may mean the difference between performing a combo and just tripping all over yourself. Plus, it's also good to note that getting this combo out can actually take quite a bit of time if things don't go right. While as lots of other combo decks in the format do use card draw and deck fixing to draw the cards they need, Birthing Pod doesn't do that. It just relies on itself to sacrifice your creatures to get more creatures, and in turn hopefully get the creatures you need to pull off your combo. And when the combo doesn't work, it just attacks with creatures. On top of that, Birthing Pod decks are also very versatile. No two pod lists are exactly alike, so having this back in the format will mean that tons of people will be getting their creative bug on. And after all, that is one of the fun things about Magic, right? Being able to create what you want. Next on our list is Mental Misstep, and my god, why is this card here? Seriously. I mean, I know it's a free counterspell, and I know you can play it in any deck, but seriously, it's so freaking limited. While Mental Misstep is good at countering one-drops, it's, well, obviously not very good at countering much else. So what do you do when every deck in the format plays something that stops one-drops? Well, you play bigger spells. I mean, if you look back at the cards we've been talking about, how many of them have converted mana cost of 1? Allowing Mental Misstep back into the format will allow so many other cards to be playable, and will get players to think twice about playing mana-efficient cards. In fact, it may push it so hard that we may see decks that we may have never ever thought to see again. And it's all because, well, we unbanned something that was, well, kind of harmless. Now, I can understand why Mental Misstep might be banned in a format like Legacy, because Legacy is a much faster format. Modern is Modern, and Modern should try to be different. So, in order to distinguish the two, it might be better to make that format just a little bit slower. And unbanning Mental Misstep will essentially get it there, because people will think twice about playing so many one-drops. On top of that, I mean, really, this isn't going to stop Karn Liberated. I'm sorry, it's just not. Finally, we have reached our last card on our list, and it is none other than Ancestral Visions. Now, you might think I'm completely crazy for saying that we should unban a suspended Ancestral Recall, but you have to keep in mind it's a suspended Ancestral Recall, which is a lot different from an actual Ancestral Recall. Because the card is suspended, you will eventually get to cast it for free, and free card advantage might seem cheap, but you have to keep in mind that this doesn't happen for 4 turns after you cast it, so essentially it happens on turn 5. However, if you get it later in the game and don't suspend it on turn 1, you're not going to get it till past your 5th turn. Modern is known for a lot of decks that are just really ruthless and really fast. We have Burn, we have Affinity, we have Poison, we have several different combo decks. By that time in the game will more than likely be over. If the game isn't over, well, that just means that the aggressive deck failed to execute, and now it's the turn for the deck who played Ancestral Vision to try to take the game away from that player. Ancestral Vision would kind of fill in a role of what Blue does best. With all the high tempo and high value cards that are in the format, it seems like Blue kind of is lacking in a format full of collected companies and siege rhinos and similar things. We all know that Treasure Cruise was banned for a very good reason, but we have to keep in mind that Ancestral Vision isn't Treasure Cruise. You can't cast it on turn 2 or turn 3. And there you have it, the top 5 cards that deserve another chance in Modern and deserve to be free from this prison known as the ban list. Do you think those cards will completely ruin the format, or do you agree with my list? Or are there any other cards that you think are on the modern ban list that deserve another chance in the sunlight? Feel free to tell me what you think about it in the comments section below, and as always, feel free to subscribe while you're at it. My name is Ryu Spectre, and I will see you guys next time.